All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today on Extreme Health Radio Show. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to learn a little bit about health and nutrition and raw food, cleansing and healing. We've got a really great guest for you today. I think you're going to really enjoy. His name is Markus Rothkranz. And today's date, just so you know, is September 11th, 2012. And this is episode number 7. So you could find that at extremehealthradio.com/7. And just so you know, all of our shows are transcribed, which means anything that the guest says or I say is searchable on our website. So if you're driving along and the guest mentions a website or a book or something like that, you can't write it down, you can find it just by doing a search on our website. It'll be like an online encyclopedia for you. So also, if you would like to send in a question, you can do so at justin@extremehealthradio.com. And I will ask your question on the air. Or you could call our voicemail hotmail line at 949-391-7363, and I'll play your message to the guest. And I just want to let you know this show is brought to you by Sun Warrior Protein Powder, and you can find that at extremehealthradio.com/warrior. And this stuff is amazing. It's silky smooth. It's like 87% absorption rate. I think it's about 16 grams of protein per scoop. It's really addictive. So if you buy it through us, we'll get a little commission. We appreciate that. And before we introduce our guest, I would just like to talk a little bit about our show schedule coming up. We pretty much try to do shows on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of each week for you. And we've got lots of great guests coming up. We've got Dawn and Carol Croft this month talking about the Zapper technology that they've created and worked with. And we've got Christopher Wark later on this month, who healed his cancer naturally following a raw food diet, which is, if you know anyone with cancer, you'll probably want to listen to that interview. We've got Dr. Bruce Shelton out of Arizona coming up as well. He does all kinds of crazy things like chelation therapy and all kinds of cutting edge protocols he does at his clinic in Arizona. Let's see. We have got Dr. Charles Partito. He's the creator of the Ejuva Cleanse coming up in October. We've got Nina Silver also in October talking about energy medicine and things like that. So we've got lots of great guests coming up and in the pipeline for you. So just check out our show page to learn more about that. And let me introduce our guest today. I'm going to read a quick little bio of his, and then we'll get started. At the age of 9, Markus gave a speech on exponential evolution. At the age of 13, he built a 180 square foot scale model of the entire Walt Disney World Magic Kingdom. By 15, he was making movies with car stunts and explosions. At 16, he won an automotive design contest. By 17, he was in advanced electronics and hypothetical physics. Wow. By 18, he copied a famous master's oil painting stroke for stroke in only a few days. By 19, he was working with architectural firms. By 23, he was doing Hollywood FX design work on films like Total Recall, Die Hard, and Red Planet. In 1994, he wrote and directed his own $2 million worldwide motion picture, doing much of the cinematography, and he personally built over 200 miniature models. Wow. By 46, he proved anti-aging and disease eradication and is now set for his greatest undertaking ever, which is the World Health Project, healing the world and awakening the planet to a new way of living in body, mind, and spirit. Thank you, Markus, for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Wait, I haven't started yet. Hi, Justin. This is Markus.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
Damn, this quantum physics, the beginning and the end is the same, and I never get right which end is which. But anyway, I'm joking with you. Hi.
Hi. What the heck is hypothetical physics and exponential evolution?
Well, when I started with doing electronics when I was in my early teens, because I was building that miniature Disney World, and I had like 3 miles of wiring, and it was all computerized and everything. This is in the early 70s when transistors were first coming out. But when you get too deep in electronics, you know, they always tell you that electricity goes from negative to positive. And after a while, in the formulas, you start realizing that sometimes it goes from positive to negative, and you realize, wait, all this stuff that science has told us is maybe not true. And then you start like doubting everything that they've told you all these years, and this has happened many times throughout history. For example, they've told the greatest minds in the world that the officials told you the world was flat for a long time, until somebody realized, hey, wait a minute, I don't think it is. So whatever science says is not always the truth. It's just somebody's opinion, or it's somebody's view, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily the same for everybody. So anyway, theoretical physics is when you start stepping outside the box and expanding your possibilities. And Einstein did the same thing. A lot of his philosophies are exactly the same as mine. It's kind of funny because I come across a statement that was about, you name it, everything from vegetarianism to, our creativity, and say something that has nothing to do with mathematics or physics. And I said, whoever wrote this is exactly the way I think. And I every time it was Albert Einstein. So anyway, the way the universe works is so beautiful and grand that the more you step out of the way with your mind, and the more you just allow the truth to come through, the more in awe you are of the way things are designed, and you start seeing a whole new pattern of way things work. And the way most people who use their left brains work, they overcomplicate themselves. That's part of the problem of the world. Everybody thinks too much, they overcomplicate, and everything is based on limitations. How far is it? How fast will it go? How heavy is it? It's all numbers and distances and weights and measurements, and you can't box reality in like that. So theoretical physics is when you step outside that and you start thinking, well, is it really possible to have multiple realities at the same time? For example, quantum physics is a great example of that you can actually exist in multiple realities at the same time. In other words, which movie do you want to step into? You want to be in the romance or the drama or the action adventure or the comedy? Most people that I used to run across were always choosing to be in the miserable drama, and I got tired of that, and I started stepping out into the comedy, action adventure, romance movies. And it's funny because the minute you change your paradigm, everything else changes. Right. And the actors change roles, and you realize after a while that we're not victims, we're just playing roles in a movie, and so is everyone else. And you can change that at any time. An actor can say, I don't want to act in this movie anymore, I want to act in that movie. And then everybody else says, okay, maybe I will too. There's multiple theaters playing at the same time. Step into whichever one you want. So that's why I don't get too caught up in people's drama and what's happening in the world. Right. Yeah, this whole thing is a conversation that could go on for 5 hours. This is a really deep question.
Oh, I know.
You started it with a whammer there.
Wow. So are you still doing any Hollywood work out there? Because I think you're based out of Nevada, right?
Yeah, I'm hiding in my secret underground base here in Las Vegas. But I worked in Hollywood for many years, and it was... there's too much angst in that city. You just feel it. It's like bristling in the air. It's like this electricity of tension where everybody's like competing. Everybody's worried about, competition and ego and how they, I don't know. They're in it for the wrong reason. They're not making movies because they want to make a difference in the world and open people's hearts. It's all about having an identity. I mean, you go by Starbucks and there's 12 people sitting there with laptops hoping that you that you ask them, hey, what are you doing? Are you writing a script? Wow, here, you want $1 million? Everybody's waiting for that big chance, and they're always waiting for someone else to find them, discover them, and make them, and it doesn't work that way. You have to make it yourself. And it doesn't matter where you are. Some of the greatest, look at Blair Witch, a couple of guys in the woods with a home video camera, and, it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter, there is no limitations. That's why I wrote The Prosperity Secret. It has nothing to do with who you know, how talented you are, how much money you have, what connections you have, or anything like that. Because I've got a lot of talent. I mean, I can paint. I can do a photorealistic painting in a day. And I thought, well, gee, because I have that ability, maybe I'll become, that's my thing. That's my purpose. That's why I'm here. And it's not. It's just something that I know how to do, but it doesn't mean that's my life. It's not my duty. There's a lot of tricks. It's kind of like a video game. The whole life is a video game, and they always. It's like a Sherlock Holmes mystery where you get these little clues. Well, I'm good at this. I'm not good at that. I have these interests, but I don't like that stuff. So you kind of use that as a guide as to where you're going in life.
Right.
And sometimes it throws you a little bit of a test, a curveball, just to see if you're going to fall for it. And it's always going to test you. Every time you say, I know what I want to do, you're going to get tested in the opposite direction to see if you really want to do that. How much do you want to stick to that?
Right.
And in the end, the stuff that doesn't stick is going to fall away. And that's what's happening with the economy right now with the whole world is the old system just it only worked so far, and then it starts crumbling and collapsing. It's like the dinosaurs. They get too big and heavy for themselves, and then the smaller, lighter ones live on, and that's what's happening in the world. The real heavy stuff that's been consuming too much is dropping,
right.
And the lighter you are, the more mobile you are, the less you need. That's why I tell people, you want to make it, get rid of stuff.
Yeah.
You want to get healthy, it's not what you put in your mouth, it's what you get rid of from your body that's going to heal you. You want to become successful and prosperous, start getting rid of your material crap and start watching the prosperity come in.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think a lot of people might get caught up in what they're good at versus what they're passionate about. A lot of people might be good at accounting, but maybe the best way they could serve in the world would be something completely different. Just because you're good at something, right?
That's one of the tricks. That's one of the tests that life gives you. It gives you something that you're good at, and then there's something that you're passionate about, that you love doing.
Right.
Now, the good at thing, that's a shoe-in. Okay, well, a lot of people are good at, like you said, accounting, so they end up getting a desk job in a square box with windows and 9 to 5, and they're unhappy, and then they get the wife and the kids and the picket fence and the insurance policy, and then they die. Well, that's not life, And you say to them, and they always say, well, gee, if I had the money, I'd do this and I'd do that. Well, why don't you do that? I go back to Canada where I grew up, and it's like miserable, and it's cold and gray and wet and slushy, and And they always talk about, how they fantasize about being on a beach somewhere in the tropics. And I go, well, why don't you go there? And they say, well, we can't. I said, why? Well, I don't know. I think it costs too much. I have a house here. I have a job. I have kids. I have a wife. I can't just let all that go. I don't know what's down there. Well, you see, they just don't know. They don't know what it's like down there. So it's fear of the unknown is stopping them. If they only knew that, and I know people who did this. I know someone who lived had a really good job with a really good paying job in a bank. She gave it all up and went to Fiji or Bali. And lo and behold, it's 4 times cheaper to live in these tropical places than it is in a cold, sterile, suburban, modern neighborhood. I mean, what your house costs could probably buy you half a lifetime in these tropical places. And it's just, people just don't know. They're too afraid to step outside that little box that they're in and realize there's a whole world out there that's just full of life and vibrancy and health and fun and that's kind of what I'm here to do, is yank people out of those boxes and have them look at... I remember this episode of The Simpsons. It was kind of funny, where all electricity shut down and all the kids had to come out of their homes, like where they were playing video games and TV, and they saw sunlight for the first time, and their eyes hurt, and they were rubbing their eyes because they didn't know what it was like to be outside. And they were forced to learn to play on swing sets and skateboards again, like the old days.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's happening in the world, is people are losing touch with what's out there, and they just sit there and they bitch and they complain, and I go, well, nothing's stopping you, really. I mean, you want a job and a wife and kids, you can have that in Bali.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I wanted to ask you too a little bit about I'm pretty familiar with your work, and I noticed in the bio your World Health Project, and I heard you mention that one time before. What is that?
Yeah, that's a vague, all-around wrapper for increasing the world. Well, how do I describe myself? I'm kind of like a catalyst that unlocks people's the spark of imagination in people. Everybody's here for a reason, and everybody's unique and different, and you can't tell somebody else what they're here to do. Only they know what they're here to do. It's like a little secret code. It's like they're a spy. They have their little one mission, And our job isn't to tell them how to live and what to do. It's just to unlock them, to let them go, to give them freedom to be themselves, to not be caught up in the system, and to not have the fear to, everybody has this fear of insecurity, of what happens if I just follow my dream. Will I lose my job, my house, my relationship? Well, maybe you will. Maybe that's not where you're supposed to be. The idea is to get out of that fear zone and start living an exciting life of treading the unknown, being a pioneer, and finding yourself. And when you find yourself, that's when you become powerful, and that's when you become something worth something to the world, and not just somebody who exists 9 to 5 to pay bills and then die. And that's called a consumer. You're just consuming. You're not giving back, really. You're just consuming. Right. It's funny they call us consumers, right? That's kind of what most people are. Well, what about, and we're the only species on the planet that takes more than it gives back. Well, we have to change that, or the world's obviously going to die. It can only go so far until you suck it dry. So the World Health Project is to bring real health back to the world, and that is to make people so they start living a way where they give back as much as they take, but they have a hell of a great time doing it. They live their fantasies. They have, they live their dreams, and they're free, and it's not caught up in the system, and moving and traveling and living and celebrating life. And people, they hear that and they go, yeah, you got your head in the clouds. That's a fantasy. No, I gotta grind every day just to make it. And that's what's killing the world, is that limited perception. And you don't do it by lecturing people. You don't go out there and say, you need to eat raw food. You need to be a vegetarian. Stop killing animals. That's not the way to do it. What you do is you start living the lifestyle. You prove to them that it's possible. You prove to them that it's fun, it's sexy, it's vibrant. Like, wow, look at that guy. It works. And then more people start doing it. And then they start healing their diseases. And then they step outside of their job, their relationship, their house, whatever it is, and they start flourishing and thriving. And you go, what else? People know that I don't. And then you're saying, well, there is no secret. You can do this too. It's real easy. Here, take, And then, so basically, all it really is inspiring people to be what they're here to do, what they've always waited to do, what that urge, that inkling, that desire to just step outside that limitation and just start doing it. It's kind of exciting. It's like when you break up from a relationship. It's scary, but it's also exciting at the same time. And I know everybody I've ever talked to that's broken up, it's sad. They go through that moment of sadness, but at the same time, it's kind of exciting. Like, wow, the whole world's open to me now. I can do anything I want. I can see anybody I want. I can do anything, go anywhere. And I notice most people, they start looking better. They start working out. They start looking healthy, sexy. Their spirits go up, and they end up being better than when they were in a relationship. So, let's take that further, not just from a person-to-person relationship, but what about in life? What about your relationship with your job, with your health, with your purpose of being alive? That's a relationship. So the World Health Project is opening people to the concept of your entire life is a relationship with many different aspects, and having the courage to step outside that little comfort zone of yours and really living and being excited, waking up every day and saying, oh my God, the unlimited potential of what I could do today. And I'm not limited. I don't have to go to this cubicle and sit in a stupid air-conditioned box. I can do whatever I want. Right. That's exciting,
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. When we come back, I want to ask you a little bit about, get to know a little bit more about your bio and your past and all that, because I read recently that I think you mentioned that you almost died 3 times. So I want to let people know about that whole scenario and that situation too. So we'll be back in about a couple minutes, and we'll find out more about that story from Markus in just a moment.
Hi, this is Kate. Thanks for listening. I want to tell you about this product called Heal Your Face by Markus Rothkranz. You can find it at extremehealthradio.com/wrinkles. It's 204 pages, paperback or ebook. And if you're like me, you probably didn't know that all of our areas of our face correspond to specific organs in our body. And you can stop spending hundreds of dollars per year covering up symptoms with your aging face with creams and lotions and ointments, plastic surgery, things that just aren't going to work. If you learn how to heal your organs from the inside out, your face is going to reflect that too. For $25, you can't go wrong if you've always wanted that beautiful skin and actually heal the cause of it, not just keep using creams and wasting your money. You got to heal your organs, and Heal Your Face is based off of 4,000 years of Chinese medicine. The book tells you what certain organs are connected to certain parts of the body. It even gives you full color photos on what causes poor organ health, and most importantly, a step-by-step instruction on what to do about it. The outer you is just a reflection of the inner you. You can find it at extremehealthradio.com/wrinkles. Hi, this is Kate. Thanks for listening to the show. I want to tell you about this product I love called Heal Yourself 101 by Markus Rothkranz. You can find it at extremehealthradio.com/heal. It's 192 pages, paperback or ebook. If you have any kind of health issues at all, whether you're overweight, having sleeping problems, thyroid issues, diabetes, heart problems, even autism, arthritis, MS, any chronic diseases, stomach issues, think of it as like the owner's manual for staying healthy. Once you learn how the body works, you can just prevent all major disease as well as recover from them without the use of medications that do more damage in the long run than, they do in the short run. So for $29, you can't go wrong. extremehealthradio.com/heal. Get yours today.
All right, so today we've got Markus Rothkranz with us, joining us on our radio show, and you can find him at markusrothkranz.com. And again, all of the show notes is going to have the links to his websites and to his Facebook accounts and to all of that good stuff. So make sure and visit him and follow him on Facebook and all that fun stuff. So Markus, before we dropped off for the commercial, I believe we were going to get into your past and how you almost died 3 times.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because to this day, I have never touched a drop of alcohol, never smoked a cigarette, never done a drug, other than what the doctors gave me. And I wanted to be the good boy. I always wanted to do the right thing. I mean, I was beat up in school because I was a nerd. I never did the wrong thing. I never tried to be a troublemaker, and I almost died as a result of it. And it's kind of funny because what was killing me was, and I didn't know this till 30 years later, was that I was living the standard, normal American or modern lifestyle. I was eating processed dead foods. My parents didn't even know. I mean, I was eating TV dinners and SpaghettiOs and making my little what do you call those things that you bake in the oven, Pillsbury,
Yeah.
And they were great, tasted great, but it was killing me. And I remember my favorite thing to make was noodle soup with it was noodles and milk and sugar. I mean, talk about a bad combination of all around. It was just, it tasted really good. And anyway, so I was born actually with a weak immune system, and my mother couldn't give me breast milk after a couple of weeks because she was sick. And it just spiraled really bad downhill from there. I mean, it was, by the time I was 18, when I left home, it was like, went to art school. It was like, yeah, Pizza Hut, McDonald's, Burger King, go for it, milkshakes and apple pies and I had cysts and already like really had cysts, and my glasses thicker than the windshield of my car. I was coughing up blood and going to the bathroom and having blood come out. It was like my body was falling apart. By the time I was 27, my doctor told me my heart was giving out, and it was just like, well, why is this happening? All these other people are eating like whatever they want, you know, and so it was a long journey trying to figure out, like, how come, you know, everybody else is having fun and I can't do any of this stuff. But now I know why, because I have to pass this information on to others. If I didn't learn the hard way, because that's really the only way a lot of people are going to learn is to be cornered into the wall like that. So basically, I mean, I was doing, like I said, everything that I was supposed to do. I went after the successful job. I worked in Hollywood. I had the money and the house and everything. I was quite good at what I did. So it wasn't lack of lifestyle. Mm-hmm. It was the lifestyle actually that was killing me. And I never drank coffee or alcohol or any of that. So I just basically gave up, and I wasn't happy, even though I was making lots of money and I had the wife and the house and everything. I wasn't happy, so I just gave literally everything up, completely. Gave everything away, went out to the desert, dropped my clothes, and just had my 40 days. And just started over. I said, if I die, I die, because I'm not happy. This isn't the end. This isn't the way of living. And I said, if there's any truth, this is it, And I looked around and saw these animals they didn't have mortgages, they didn't have telephones, they didn't have agendas, they didn't have meetings, they didn't have anything. They were happy. They were just living. They were eating, making out, sleeping, lying in the sun. I said, that's the life. Right. And I just learned from nature. I just learned the truths of nature. And even Einstein said, anything that you ever want to learn, you can get it from nature. It's already there. It's 3 million years, 300 million years of evolution has already worked everything out. All the kinks are worked out. Whatever doesn't work is no longer around. Mm-hmm. The only stuff that is left in nature is stuff that works. So learn. And I did. And I came back and I was a different person. And I just became part of nature. I'm not really I don't even like to almost think that I'm an individual. I just melted into existence. It's like a raindrop that falls from the sky, and it looks at all the other raindrops, and it's lonely because we're all separate. And it compares itself to other raindrops. So that one looks a little shinier, that one looks a little more sparkly, that one's bigger, and then we're all, it just depresses us more the more we compare ourselves with others. Right. And then at some point, the raindrop hits the ocean and splat, it melts into the ocean. It's no longer a raindrop. It is now the ocean. And that's kind of what happened to me out there, was I became part of everything. And there's no more limitations now, and it's just beautiful. Now you just celebrate, and because you're not limited, now you can do anything. And it's difficult to describe in words. Words can't do it justice. But I no longer have my physical body that you could see. No longer has health problems. I'm younger now at 50 than I was when I was in my late 20s. I'm a kid now. I was an old man back then, and I'm doing anything I want. I'm manifesting anything I want. I'm living a dream life, and I'm touching people's lives and changing things all over the world. It's incredible. It is the way people are supposed to live, and so I'm here to just kind of share that and say, people think, oh yeah, you're gifted, you're lucky, no, I almost died several times, and I had to find out the hard way what works. And actually, the best thing I could ever do was walk away from the stuff that was killing me. It's everybody, people email me all the time. Every day I get 300 emails from all over the world, people saying, what do I take for blah, 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 hair loss? What do I take for thyroid? What do I take for prostate? Blah, you name it. I said, stop asking that stupid question. It's not what do I take. It's not what do I put in my mouth. Everybody thinks, like parasites and stuff. They think they can take the parasite pills, but then keep eating the sugar and the chocolate and the bread and the pasta and all the crap that feeds these things that are breeding inside you. And you got to stop doing what caused the stupid condition in the first place. There's no magic pill. There's no magic herb. Yeah, there's some herbs out there. There's some plants and things that are supplemental. They help you. But the main, it's like, like people, I guess the best way to describe it is, okay, there's a fire. Somebody says, how do I put out the fire? And then somebody else says, well, I hear if you put water on it, it'll help the fire go, it'll douse the fire. But I don't hear anybody asking, what's burning? What's the fire burning from? Well, is it an oil fire? Is it gasoline burning? If it is, the water's not going to do anything. It's just going to keep burning. You can't douse a gasoline fire with water. And that's what we should be doing with our bodies. We shouldn't be asking, what do I take? It's, what do I stop doing? What do I get rid of?
Yeah, that's almost even more important than what you put in, because what you put in over time, is healthy, but it can't combat, eating a supplement today isn't going to combat, 30 years of eating something,
right,
damaging
exactly.
your
And
health.
actually, it takes care of the other what you get rid of answers what you should be taking. In other words, if the problem is you've been eating bread and grains and starches, and which turn into sugar in your system, and sweet stuff, and all these people who claim they're vegetarian, vegans, and whatever, they're really not. That doesn't mean you're healthy. Eating bread, pasta, cereal, crackers, anything made with grains, that's not food. It's not healthy. And then there's the raw vegans. They all go towards the sugar, the sweet stuff. Everything is mango, pineapple, banana, smoothie, parfait, dessert, pie. You notice a pattern there? It's all sugar. It's all sweet stuff.
Dates.
I said, you realize half your diet should be leafy greens? Look at a gorilla. Look at a monkey. They're 5 times stronger than us, and they eat figs and fruits and things like that, but they also eat leaves and greens. You have to be a balance in your life. You can't just down the sugar and think that, and then you wonder why you're bloating and having candida and mood swings just like a typical hypoglycemic that eats bread. You got to be balanced the way nature designed. And once you start honoring the laws of nature, that's when you start, nature pays you back 1,000 times with a long, healthy, vibrant life. If you look at the animals in the wild, they don't age. I mean, you go into the woods, you don't see a gray-haired, fat, bald deer. They don't exist. They're furry, they're beautiful, and they have, there's no gray-haired animals, really, other than the ones that are kept in zoos or held prisoner or fed by man or eat garbage left over by man. Those are the only ones that get diseases. But in the wild, animals don't really age. They just kind of live a beautiful life, and then they die.
Right.
And man, he goes halfway and he starts aging. He spends the last 50 years of his life, losing his hair, getting a gut, going bald, losing energy, losing hormones, getting depressed. That's a slow, miserable death that lasts 50 years, and it's not normal. It's not supposed to be like that. That is not. I don't wear glasses anymore. I don't have to. All that stuff I had when I was in my 20s. Is gone. I can hear things 4 rooms away. I am now, my body is regenerated to the point that the way it's supposed to be, and I'm 50. So, and this is like, people think, well, that's like, you're starting to hit the old age.
Right.
That really, God, you guys have no clue what living is. It's just starting.
Right. So do you do any, what about your diet? Do you do any rotation of your diet, or what's an example of a typical, daily diet for you?
Well, the first thing that I do is, my mindset is there is no rules to follow. There is no regimen. Like, I have to eat, 6 almonds and have one. It's first of all, variety is important. And if you look at any animal in the wild, they don't stay in one spot. They just keep moving. Different spots, like, today they're eating here, and then tomorrow they're eating in that part of the forest. They just keep moving, like they're even the people in the old days, they're nomads. They move, they keep moving. So you're eating different things from different soil groups, different plants, different, so you're getting a wide variety of stuff. And that's, even if you were eating from a health food store, organic stuff, and you're having the best, or even if you grow your own food, if you only eat the same thing over and over and over, you're going to start lacking in something, because you're only getting what that plant offers you, but not, in other words, you got to have a wide variety of stuff. So my first rule is eat as many different things as possible. Second rule is eat it in the way that you find it in nature. And in other words, don't kill it. Like, don't bake it or fry it or cook it or there's some things out there that are really, really high in oxalates or stuff, and that's a whole other subject matter. But the point is, eat it as close as possible in the form that you get it in nature, not in a plastic bag or a box or a packaged thing that's already been, it's dead. If you plant it in the ground, like if you take an apple and you bake it and you put it in the ground, it's dead. No apple tree is going to grow out of it because you killed it with heat. So eat it in the way that you find it in nature. I personally don't like killing animals or things that look at you as you're, they're so adorable. I'm like, I don't want to eat that, so I try to live just a nice, balanced, neutral, loving life, and I just love the way nature has the more you read my stuff, the free food medicine, and the way the plants and nature is designed, you realize it all has, every living thing on the planet has a purpose, and when you realize even what we call weeds, it's free food medicine, and it's so powerful that when you start realizing what this stuff does, and you know what to grab and what to put in your mouth when you need it, it's just you see there's no coincidence. This was put here. This was planned. I mean, right. And you start really having admiration and an awe for the great design of everything. And that I really don't think anything is random. I think everything has a grand design behind it. Right.
And do you do any liver cleanses or enemas? What kinds of things proactive things do you do or not do in your daily life?
Your diet is a liver cleanse if you're eating right. But what cleans your liver the best is bitters. Anything that's bitter. And this is one thing that most people have deviated from, even in the raw food world. Everybody's so hooked on the sugar. Everybody's into addiction and comfort and instant gratification, even the raw foodists. If you notice, most of the raw food recipes and most of the raw food anything out there, it's all sweet. Sweet. Almost nothing is bitter. But if you go in nature, if I was to dump you in the woods and say survive, most of the stuff that you would be forcing into your mouth, you'd be going, yeah! It tastes terrible. It's bitter. That's because most stuff in nature is bitter. And why is that? It's because that's what cleans your liver. And there's some fruit out there that's nice and sweet and stuff, but that's not what you should be living off of 100%. Bitter stuff causes the vagus nerve in the back of your tongue to activate your liver to cleanse, and the liver purges through your system. And bitter helps create digestive juices, which help your stomach acid get stronger. Most people in this, 98% of people in the modern world, their stomach acid is way too weak for a lot of reasons. One of them is there's no bitter stuff in their diet. It's kind of interesting. Bitter stuff also helps your depression. So if you're depressed, like in the wintertime, the best thing you can do is like basil juice or dandelions or anything that's bitter. So bitter makes you, if you're bitter, take bitter. It makes you better. And so the more you start eating naturally, the less bitter it tastes. And that's kind of interesting. If you distance yourself from the natural foods, you have like this unnatural, sickeningly sweet addiction. Everything has got to be overly sweet. But if you eat a natural diet, what a normal person in the modern world would consider bitter isn't really that bitter anymore after you've been eating it for a while. It becomes just a natural thing. Like, when you watch animals munching on stuff, if you were to eat what they eat, you'd probably be going, ooh, what do the animals see in this? Right. So we've kind of lost touch with the way things actually are supposed to taste. The more you get into it, the more appreciation you have for it. And so to answer your question, a liver cleanse is basically an ongoing thing that is, if you're eating the way you're supposed to, the way nature designed, you are cleaning your liver all the time. And people think, well, they can eat what they want and then do a real quick little cleanse, for a week or so, and then they're all clean, and then they can eat what they want again and do all the bad stuff again. It's like, again, you can't cheat nature. I get this all the time from people, all these emails saying they think they can do whatever they want eating and then do a real quick colon or liver cleanse or something, or parasite cleanse or whatever it is, and then go back to eating the crap again. Or cheat. It's human nature to push the limits, to see what you can get away with in any relationship. When nobody's looking, what are you sneaking? Right. I guarantee you almost everybody's cheating in some area of their life. Right. And diet is a big one. And that's going to spill over in the other areas of your life, too. As far as enemas, yes, that's probably one of the best things you could ever do for cleaning out the crap in you. Even healthy people, even people like me who are doing, as many good things as possible. We're living in the modern world. jet fuel, the exhaust is raining from the sky. 100% of all breast milk tested in this country has jet fuel in it. You're drinking from plastic bottles. You're in a car with fumes coming from the carpeting and the plastic dash and everything. There's no way around it. You're getting toxins in your system, so you have to clean out. You have to. I mean, you have to cleanse, and we're talking water. I mean, this isn't some chemical. This isn't anything but water, and you're just flushing it out of your system, and it's the universal solvent. It's much better for you than any colon cleansing herbs, because people say, can I just take some colon herbs? Again, they think they can fix their problem by just putting something in their mouth. They're lazy. They don't want to do the work. I go, you're living in a modern world, and you have, all that stuff does is it causes peristaltic action in your intestines and the fiber pushes through. But if you've got plaque if you eat things that are not natural, your body's going to create mucus. That mucus is going to harden over time and create a plaque that lines your entire digestive system, which is going to stop it's going to prevent nutrients from getting into your system. And some colon herbs they're just gonna scrape through that, but they're not gonna really dissolve that plaque. The only thing that really like if you burn food on a cooking pot, what do? You soak it in the sink, because water dissolves it. So the best thing you could do to dissolve anything in your system is run water through there, and it's so simple. And get over the thought that you're doing something weird. You're not. I mean, there's been it's kind of interesting. They've noticed some birds actually do this. They have those long curved beaks. They actually take some water in a stream and they stick it in their butt.
Wow.
So it is a natural thing. It even says in the Essene books even talk about it. They use gourds like 2,000-3,000 years ago. So this has been historically used. People know that water is like the best thing you could run through and do it through your sinuses too. Like get an neti pot, run it through your head, run it through your butt, run it through your mouth, run it through everything you've got. Right. Water everywhere.
Yeah, I want to, when we come back, I want to ask you a little bit about, maybe you can give a little, tutorial on how to do an enema, because I've never done one. I've done colonics, but I've never done an enema. Yeah. So maybe you can
love to.
Yeah, that'd be great. We'll be right back. We're with Markus Rothkranz, and you can find his website at markusrothkranz.com. And after this message, we'll be right back and learn a little bit about how to do an enema. All right, I hope you're enjoying this interview, whether you're out on a run or driving in your car or just listening at home. I appreciate it. I really, really appreciate that. And just wanted to take a quick minute to talk about a product called the H Miracle. And it's a hemorrhoid miracle. It's called Hemorrhoid Miracle. And you can find it at extremehealthradio.com/H Miracle, all one word. And I have the product myself. And I was told by my doctors a few years back during a routine colonoscopy, which I will not get anymore now that I know better. But during that colonoscopy, he found a couple polyps and removed them, said they were fine, and said that I had internal hemorrhoids, and that I think it's some incredible amount of people he finds internal hemorrhoids in, but most people can't feel them. So if you do have hemorrhoids, consider getting this book, because it's absolutely incredible. I highly recommend it. As you know, we only promote products that we strongly believe in, and I've actually used the information in this book to alleviate my symptoms. So it's really, really, I think, something that I stand behind, and it's valuable. And if you are dealing with such an issue, check it out. extremehealthradio.com/H Miracle, and you can learn more about it on that page and see if it's something for you. But before you get anything drastic done, definitely want to check that out. So, but if you're also interested, you can check out our store for all kinds of awesome products. Everything from reading your own blood tests which is very important to know how to do, how to make cultured food, digestive, improving your digestion products, products for your dogs and things like that, survival products, parenting and baby products, and all kinds of really, really high quality stuff I think you're going to like. So check out our store, and if you want to just make a donation, feel free. Anything you want to donate is much appreciated. You can donate as little as $1 if you'd like, and anything you want is so very much appreciated. This is a labor of love, this website, so we really want to promote good products and put out high quality content. And if you ever make purchases on Amazon, feel free to visit any one of our web pages and scroll all the way to the bottom, and you can click on the Amazon link, and whatever you buy at Amazon will help support us. We'll get a little commission. We won't make much on it, but every little bit helps, so we really appreciate that. And if you can't purchase on Amazon or don't want to buy any of the products, that's cool too. Just keep enjoying the show and consider following us on Facebook and Twitter and sending the links to your friends and all that too. So we'd really appreciate any support like that. That doesn't cost any money at all. So I just hope you're getting a lot of value out of this show. So let's get back to the interview here. All right. Thank you, Markus, for joining us today. It's really an honor to have you on. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, before we're cut off by the break, we were talking about enemas, and I was wondering if you might be able to walk people through maybe where to get the coffee, what kind of coffee to get, where to get the supplies, and basically just a quick tutorial on how to do one.
Yeah, and I don't even use coffee. I mean, first of all, when people hear enemas, some people actually go to a drugstore and they say, "Where's your enemas?" And then they're given these little tiny plastic tubes, like disposable kind with this chemical in there. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, it looks like a hot water bottle. It's a red rubber bag that holds over half a gallon of water. Okay. It's got this tube, usually white, that has a tip on it, and that tip goes in your butt. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a stupid little disposable thing. And then you get clean water. You take that thing home, you wash it out, get the plastic fumes out of it, and you're ready to go. The best thing is to heat the water to body temperature. That way you don't really feel it going in, although if you're in an emergency situation, just take the water as it is. But heat it up so you put your finger in the water, and it's the same temperature as your finger. You're ready to go. Fill it in. Go into a bathroom, lube up the tip with some coconut oil or something, olive oil, whatever you got. Mm-hmm. And I usually hang the and then let a little bit of the water run out so you don't have any air bubbles in there. Okay. And then you pinch the hose so you've got it stopped. And then you hang the hook. It's got a hook on the back end of it so that the bag's hanging upside down. Mm-hmm. I always say a towel rod rack, which is usually about like 4 feet up. Okay. And then you kneel on the floor by the toilet with your butt in the air and your head flat on the floor. Mm-hmm. Stick the tube in your butt. I mean, no, not the tube, the tip. So just a couple inches. And let go of the hose so the water starts running. And then you can control the flow of the water by pinching the hose or for stopping it when it gets too much. For those who've never done it before, the first experience is like, oh my God! You're like, what the hell did he make me do? It's like having sex for the first time. It's like, you just don't know what's going to happen. It's bizarre. It's like you start having doubts, like, am I going to explode? No. It's just water going in, and if you're clogged up, and most people are, they're not going to be able to get the whole bag of water in it the first try. You're going to feel like you have to go to the bathroom within the first 3 seconds. My suggestion is, for anybody doing enemas, is don't try to go to the bathroom right away. Stop the flow of water, breathe out, whatever, relax, then put a little more water in, just let it go as much as you can. And so you absolutely can't take it, then dump it out in the toilet and then do round 2. But the idea is to keep going keep putting more water in if you have to, but the idea is to get a whole bag in there at once. Oh. And then the reason you have your butt in the air is gravity will make the water go you want it to go up through all 3 colon parts, the ascending, transcending, and descending. Mm-hmm. It fills up the whole colon with water, and the best way to do that is to kind of be upside down a little bit, so it runs upwards, towards the center of your body. Okay. And And that's it. That's an enema. It's really simple, and you just keep putting water in the bag until you get a whole, like the whole bag empties into you, and then you kind of hold it as long as you can. Most people can't hold it for more than a few minutes, and that's fine. Okay. And then you sit on the toilet for the next 20 minutes, and you're going to have about 5 rounds of stuff coming out, and most people are just amazed at what comes out. Usually, like, they're shooting like rocks. They go, I didn't know I had all these blockages in there.
Wow. So how long?
Then,
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. How long do you typically do one for? If you do one, and then how often do you do these?
Well, the whole process takes about a little less than half an hour because you're heating up the water, you're filling it in, then you're letting it out, and letting it out is like you're sitting on the toilet relaxing and having like 4 rounds of stuff coming out, and you now if you're really sick. Now, that's the first thing I say. If you got a headache, that means you got a blockage in your body somewhere, guaranteed. And it's kind of funny because people think, well, it's in my head, though. The pain is in my head. Yeah, I said, well, try it. I dare you to do an enema and not tell me that the headache is affected by it. Usually, when you do an enema, you can literally feel the headache just draining down, kind of like a toilet flushing. It's like instant. You feel the head congestion just going. People go, how can that happen? How can your head just stop being congested when your butt's got being flushed out? Well, your whole body's connected. It's like a freeway that's backed up. And so if you're really sick, if you got some kind of infection, if you're sick, got a flu stomach, food poisoning, whatever it is, anything, any cancer, you name it, I suggest, doing a series of these things, like 3 whole bags, 4 whole bags of one shot. Just go for it. Just keep doing it, because you've never been cleaned out. Yet that crusty old crap needs to get dissolved and come out. And then take some probiotics afterwards, so you're replenishing the good guys. Okay. And then I'd say, if you're really sick, do it every day. If you're trying to heal cancer or whatever it is, do it every day. If you're doing, if you're semi-okay, but you want to just clean, then I say every other day. Mm-hmm. And then after a while, once you've got the thing under control, then do it like twice a month, like every 2 weeks. Do one bag. And
the benefits of colonics are incredible, aren't they? The benefits of doing colonics. I'm sorry, of enemas.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, you're cleansing out your system. It's like the best thing you can do is like spring cleaning, and you know how good you feel when you're taking a shower, and that's just the outside of that's just your skin. And the skin is the outer layer of your liver, so you're actually washing the outer layer of your liver by staying in the shower, cleaning your skin. Well, imagine how good you feel if you could clean your entire body from the inside out. So if you think you feel good after a shower, that good feeling that you have is like times 5, times 10. I'm singing after an enema. I'm like doing ballet moves. It's amazing. I've become a comedian. It's like you could be, and if somebody's really crabby and like yelling at you, and really you're having a fight or something, I always shove an enema bag in their face and say, "Go in there and do an enema right now." And I pretty much right afterwards, that bad mood is gone. Wow. I mean, they're like, "Oh, I feel like a new person now. Thank you. I needed that." Usually, when people are really crabby and upset, it means they're congested. Something's not right. They're not flowing. You need to have flow, movement in your life. And depressed, unhappy, miserable people are usually, they're not flowing. They're just they're blocked somehow energetically, and the enema is a good way to get it going. Yeah, it's all connected.
I think that as a culture, we're just grossed out by that kind of thing because we've been, we've grown up on TV and just a mass culture, and so the idea of taking care of yourself and doing things like this grosses a lot of people out. But really, people have been doing it for thousands of years, and I want to ask you too, what do you do in terms of like a physical workout program of any kind, of exercise? What kinds of things do you do?
Well, the most important thing for anybody is you got to move your body. If you don't, you're going to lose it. So the first thing that I would suggest is, the smallest thing you should do is, everybody sits at a computer all day, so is to get up every 20 minutes, do some jumping jacks and stretch. And so that's like the minimum. What I do is every day usually twice a day, beginning of the end of the day. I run out the door, because I have a studio behind my house, and I just run down the street, go, I just run down the street like this crazy animal, and I'm like sprinting like I'm running for my life, like there's a bear after me or something. And I just run, and then I run around the block or whatever, and then I come back and I keep working. And then at the end of the day, I run again, and I run as fast as I can, and then I'm huffing and puffing, and then I walk till I recover, and then I run some more, and then I walk, and I run, and I walk, and pretty soon, after about 10 minutes, I've done like a mile or two, and I come back, and I feel like a whole new person. So that to me is the basic that everybody should do. You need to move your body. On top of that, I go to the gym 3 days a week, and I do heavy weights with a trainer and stuff because it just feels good. And by the way, women who have, their biggest problem later in life is they're losing their bone mass. Well, one of the best ways to keep your bones strong is weight-bearing exercises. And I'm not saying to do something like a man does with heavy weights, but some kind of weight-bearing exercise on a regular basis helps keep your bones strong. And stay away from calcium supplements. Take magnesium instead, because that's really what you're lacking. It's not calcium. I can go on forever, but exercise is so important in moving your body, and it's kind of interesting because when you move through life, even if you're driving a car on vacation, that's when the phone calls and the job offers start coming in and the money starts flowing. I don't know if people notice this. When you're sitting there waiting for the phone to ring, nothing happens. You get depressed, you become broke. But when you're moving, when you're driving, when you're on vacation, when you're running, when you're actually moving through space and time, that's when everything else starts moving in your life, your health, your money. And that's what I talked about in the Prosperity Secret is you need to move your butt and get out there and don't just sit, because you will stagnate. Your life will stagnate. You can't wait for anything or anyone. You're the only one that can move your own self.
Right. And in we've got about 5 more minutes to go. I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of your products. And I know you've got a lot of different things that you're offering. You've got one called Heal Your Face, and then Heal Yourself 101. And you've got Free Food and Medicine, the Prosperity Secret, and you have, I think, a couple other ones. Talk a little bit about your products and kind of what... Yeah,
it's all self-empowerment stuff. Even the herbal products, which are all cleansing products, it's all about... they're instruction manuals. I don't tell people how to heal themselves. Boy, I do. I don't do the healing. I tell them how to do it to themselves. I mean, that's my whole thing. Is once you teach someone how to fish, they'll have food for life. That's the concept of teaching them how to self-empower themselves. So from that moment forward, they'll know how to go through life, how to heal their body, their relationship, their mind, their money, whatever it is. It's all connected. You can have the healthiest body in the world, but if you're not doing what you want, if you're not happy, if you're not successful, you're going to be miserable and you'll still die. You have to be all around healthy. Health means you're having sex 3 times a day, you're eating great, you're driving on vacation, you're doing what you want, you're healing the world. That's health. You're happy, you're celebrating, you're full of life. And if you don't like something, if you don't like being around somebody, you walk away. You have the strength to do that. You don't fight. You just move somewhere else. And it's a whole new way of living. And that's what I do with these books and DVDs, is to show people, there's nothing to fear. What's the worst fear people have? Well, they're going to starve to death. You're going to lose your house and your job and your money and everything. You'll starve to death. Well, once you realize dandelions and weeds are edible, it's the best food and medicine you can have, you'll realize, oh my God, I can't starve because this stuff is everywhere. I live in the desert, and there's enough food out here, even in the desert, once you know what to look for, that you realize you can never starve. And once you realize you'll never starve, you have the strength to go through life and go, I can do anything I want. I don't care if I'm naked, and I don't have a bank account, and I don't have any friends. I will survive, and I will be fine and happy doing what I want because I'm on my own. I call my own shots, and I'll never starve. I'll never get sick. So it's giving people a whole new way of looking at life, a new strength, a new independence. And I think that's really what people want more than anything, is an independence to do what they want and be free to be themselves.
Right. Yeah, a lot of your products are available on markusrothkranz.com, or if you purchase them through us, we'll get a little commission for that, and that'll help fund our efforts as well. So in the remaining moments, what are some of the things that you're going to be doing, that you want to do in the future, or you're thinking about projects that you're going to line up, and what, where are you headed in the future?
Well, and by the way, that website is too long for people to remember. Just go to Markus News. That's my newsletter. It's Markus News. That'll give you all the free videos and updates and things like that. But and I'll talk about what I'm doing. But my main goal is to just inspire the hell out of people, literally. To get the hell out of them and to let them dance and inspire and be free and not be afraid of the economy and what other people are saying. And even if everything does collapse, it shouldn't matter, because we're above all that. And so I'm about to put on my entertainment, because I come from an entertainment background, is to put on shows ultimately that will fill stadiums and really, really put together all the elements of what when you go to a great music concert, that's great, but most of the music doesn't have much meaning to it. It's just hollow lyrics. What if you walked out of a full-on experience where your life changed and you went home and nothing was ever the same again? That's where this is all heading, is to really, really rev people up, to bring in the new world with full force and really make a change in the world, and give people the strength to have the courage to stand up for what they really want to be doing. That's where this is all heading. Wow,
that's awesome. Thank you, Markus, for taking the time out of your day to be on our show, and we really appreciate you breaking everything down for us today.
My pleasure. That's what it's all about.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Markus. We will talk to you soon.
Okay, Justin. Have a good one.
Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Wow, that was quite an interview with Markus Rothkranz. What an amazing guy. He's 50 years old, and he looks pretty darn young to me, and he's got more energy than I've got, that's for sure. So I hope you enjoyed that interview, and hopefully you can learn a few things from that. And I'm going to start doing some enemas. A friend of mine has been doing them, and it's something that I think it's important that we do, and I got to start doing that. So if you've enjoyed this interview, we would really appreciate it if you would like us on Facebook, and also click like on this show page, extremehealthradio.com/7, and to help spread the word. That would be really helpful to us, and we would really appreciate it, and it would help pay the bills. It would be a nice way for you to support us without spending any money. But if you want to donate, you can donate as well via PayPal. We'd really appreciate that. Any amount is appreciated, and also our store is available too. So we've got lots of great products on there designed to benefit you in so many ways. So if you're ever considering buying from Amazon, or buying a Vitamix, or other kind of blender like a Blend Tech or something like that, buy it through us and visit our store first, and we would get a little commission. That would help us continue serving you. So with that said,